That day in school I want to sleep but I can't. I had been tossing in my bed, and it's already 11 at night. And my mind keeps reminding me of that day in school when I came to know that Akhil knows the secret of my dual life is a girl at home and a boy at school. I was really anxious that day. And why wouldn't I? If Akhil decided to tell everyone about me, my life in the school would have turned for worse. There was not much I could do. After Akhil had left me standing there on the road alone, I could only wait and watch what happens in the school. Moreover, I had to rush back home to cook for Geeta. She was capable of making my life more miserable than anyone else ever could. So, I bought vegetables as soon as I could, cooked lunch for Geeta, and changed my clothes to go to the school. I was nervous to say the least. I even wondered why I even bothered to go to school that day. I was expecting a group of Akhil's friends waiting for me to arrive and laugh at me. With that nervousness, I entered my school building and walked towards my class, expecting a group of boys to laugh at me any moment. Each step felt like a torture. But it was a business as usual. There were no laughs. I wanted to avoid looking at Akhil, but he used to sit in the front. I tried ignoring him, but couldn't avoid seeing him smile at me. It seemed like a genuine and pleasant smile. I was a boy, and in my male school uniform, and yet I truly felt like a girl when I saw him smile at me. I felt nervous and shy at the same moment. I felt like sliding my fingers through my long hair, and give a naughty smile in return. I don't know why I felt like that. I am glad I didn't do anything stupid. I still didn't trust him. I was anxious throughout the day, but nothing bad happened. When the school day had passed and I was getting ready to go back home, he came up to me and said, "Your secret is safe with me. I will see you soon." That's all he said and walked away. I wanted to say thanks to him for keeping my secret safe with him, but he didn't give me a chance. "I will see you soon," his words were churning a new kind of emotions inside me. But my heart was relaxed now, and when I reached home, I became Sonali as usual and started doing house chores. When I was done with all, I went up to my room to study. After all, I had to work hard on my chemistry subject. It was not possible to get into a good college without getting good scores in chemistry. And if I could not get into a good college, I would have to live this miserable life under Geeta. That evening a doorbell rang, while I was studying in my room. I peeped outside my window to see who it was. It was Akhil. Oh God, save me from him. He has now even come up to my home, I thought. But more than that, I was worried what my mother Geeta would do to him and me on seeing him. She was always unpleasant and could do unexpected things. But before I could do anything, Geeta had opened the door. She had not been kind to anyone these days, and Akhil was about to taste that too. "Who are you? What do you want?" Straight questions came from Geeta's mouth. She sounded irritated for no reason. "Namaste, Auntie. I am Akhil and I study with Sonali in her class. Is she home?" Akhil asked. Why do you want to see her?" Geeta asked insultingly, almost shouting at the poor fellow. I already had a soft corner for him. "Auntie, I have come to do homework with her. My mathematics is weak and she can help me with that. And I will help her in chemistry." Akhil didn't sound afraid of Geeta at all. I don't know how he got the courage to face her. And how did he know about my chemistry difficulties? As far as I know, he could not be weak in mathematics. After all, he is the topper of my class. "So, you wanna help her in studies?" Geeta stared at him and asked. with suspicions. Alright. Sonali is in her room upstairs. Follow these stairs to reach her room. She followed. And Akhil came running upstairs. I had heard their conversation, and I was kind of relaxed that nothing really bad happened. You never know how it will go with Geeta. When I looked at Akhil, I felt a little shy. It was a strange behavior on my part. I don't know why, but just like any other girl, I began to cover my chest with my dupatta. I almost became a real girl in front of him. Looking at me shying away, he came up to me and began to smile. Hi, Sonali, he said. Why are you here? Why have you been following me? I showed a little anger at him, though there was a complete opposite feeling going inside my heart. Why do you get angry? Looks like anger runs in this family. I have come here to help you in chemistry. He began to laugh. I don't trust you, I said to him. Okay. I am here to receive an apology from you for that day when you bumped into my bicycle. Go away. I am not going to say sorry to you, I said, gesturing like a girl. Is there any girl in this world who would say sorry this easily? And that too to a guy for whom she had feelings in her heart? I thought to myself. Feelings in her heart? My own thought confused me. In that case, why don't we just complete the homework together? He said and grabbed my hand to take me inside my room. Until now, I had only been showing anger on my face. Yet, we began to do our homework sitting on opposite sides of the table. He was really a cute boy. I don't know how, but soon we started talking freely with open hearts to each other, and he started to help with my chemistry work. In between, our eyes would meet occasionally and I would blush in response. About an hour must have passed when I said to him, Akhil, please forgive me for that day. I finally apologized and he merely smiled at me. Hey, listen, now, I need to go to the kitchen and begin to cook dinner. You will have to go back home now, I said to him. I really didn't want him to go, but he was smart enough to understand my situation. He took my hand in his hands and comforted me. He said, I will see you again tomorrow, Sonali, and he left quietly. And I stood there watching him go. What was going on in my heart? Even I could not understand. Maybe it was happening because Akhil was the only person in this world who was accepting me as a girl without mocking me. He treated me respectfully. I wish he treated me like Sonu, a boy, instead. But after listening to all those jokes and comments being passed on me, I was content with someone accepting me in any form, male or female. After Akhil left, Madhu Didi and Shikha Didi came into my room. Wow, who was that guy who came here to see my little sister at home? Madhu Didi teased me. No one, Didi. He is a classmate from school. He came here to help me with my chemistry, I said. Whatever, he looks really handsome. What's going on between you two? Madhu continued to tease me laughingly. Didi, I revolted and blushed, casting my eyes down due to shyness. Shikha Didi, look how our little sister is blushing talking about that guy. I think Sonali is falling in love, Madhu said to Shikha Didi, and began to laugh out loud. Stop it, Madhu. Shikha Didi made Madhu shut up. She looked a little worried. I knew what was worrying her. She was concerned that her younger brother might actually start feeling like Sonali inside. And she had been really trying hard with our mother to get me another chance to live as a boy. She was worried that I would end up living a life of an incomplete woman. Shikha, come down quickly, came the voice of our mother Geeta from downstairs. Coming, Ma, Shikha Didi called back. And bring down your sisters too with you, Geeta shouted again. All three of us rushed downstairs. We didn't want to give any reason for Geeta to go mad. What's the matter, Mom? Shikha Didi asked. Look, there is a letter for you, she said, handing over a sealed envelope to Shikha Didi. Didi opened the envelope and began to read the letter inside. Ma, I got the job as an accountant in Agra city, Shikha Didi said with excitement showing in her eyes. Wow, Didi, that's such a great news. I jumped with joy at the pleasant news. Yes, Didi, now you can get your M.Com degree from a college there in Agra too, Madhu Didi said. I have been asked to join in a week from now. Shikha Didi looked at me with happiness. But her happiness vanished from her face soon. Because if she was gone to Agra, there would be no one at home to fight for me with Geeta. Who would save me from her temper? Still, we ignored that problem for a while and celebrated the news that evening. And at night, we two sat together to talk. Shikha Didi told me to focus on my studies. She said that once she gets her salary increased after some time and I am done with my high school studies, she would take me with her to Agra to study in a good college. Both of us began to dream about that day when I would be free from Geeta's shackles. Falling in love, Shikha Didi had already left for Agra. In her new job, she was barely saving some money, and she would send it all to us at home. Now, our financial situation had become a little better. And now we had a phone at home. Shikha Didi would call us once in a week on that phone to us, and would tell stories about her life in the city. By now, I had settled living the life of Sonali, a girl. And I had become habitual of experiencing the short temper of Geeta, who could explode at me at any moment. I was now in class 11, and within a couple of years, I would be far away from Geeta in another city studying in a college. This thought would always give me hope that these painful days will be over soon enough. I was convinced that nothing worse than this can happen to me now. But I was so wrong. One day when I went to my school, I was hounded by a group of guys from my class. Look, Sonali darling is here, one boy said. And everyone in the group laughed. One boy pulled my long hair and said, Sonali, why don't you braid your hair like a girl? Someone else said, hey, do you have a boyfriend, darling? My worst nightmare was coming to be true. All these guys had somehow came to know about me, and now were making fun of me. They called me names which were hurtful, and I can't even write those words here. My eyes were quickly filled with tears as I found myself helpless. Please, let me go, I pleaded. But they were not in the mood to leave me alone. How can we let you go this easily, darling? One boy said. Some others began to touch me and poke at my body and my body parts. I was getting angry with all the teasing. Leave me, or else I will scratch you and beat you, I threatened them. But this emboldened them as my threat was a girly one. Oh, I am so looking to get a lovely beating from you, darling, one boy exclaimed. Once again, everyone in the group was laughing at me. But then, out of nowhere, the boy who had said the last words got a big punch on his face. The person who punched that bully boy was no one else but Akhil. He was my hero who was there to save me. If anyone else has something to say it to me. I will bury you all here. Akhil was fuming in fury. Looking at his anger, everyone pushed back a little. Let's go, guys. Akhil has gone mad. He is not sane, one boy said. The nose of the boy who received the punch was bleeding. Everyone left, leaving us alone there. Akhil kept his hand on my shoulders and said, "Don't worry, Sonali. I am here for you." And I kept looking at my hero, my savior. He took me inside the class and took me to a bench far from the guys, to sit with girls in the class. By now, my girl classmate had come to know about my secret as well. They all were staring at me. And one of them was Niyati, who came up to me and hugged me. She said, "Sonali, you are going to sit with me from today." Apart from my own home and neighborhood, my life in my school was getting difficult as well, but I always had the support of Akhil and Niyati. After that day, the respect in my heart for Akhil increased tremendously. And maybe, my love towards him increased as well. Now, Akhil would always come to my home after the school hours. We would sit, laugh, chat and do our homework. I was like a free bird in front of him. Sometimes, he would hold my hand and hug me, but I would always come out of his hold. He would never force himself on me. I loved spending time with him. I had started to do a little makeup before he would come to my home. I wanted to look good for my love that was never expressed. Not expressed in words, but our eyes had expressed it many a times to each other. We both knew that we were falling in love. Though I was not a complete girl and acted in tomboyish manner, he still treated me gently. Now, Akhil would always come to my home after the school hours. We would sit, laugh, chat and do our homework. I was like a free bird in front of him. Sometimes, he would hold my hand and hug me, but I would always come out of his hold. He would never force himself on me. I loved spending time with him. I had started to do a little makeup before he would come to my home. I wanted to look good for my love that was never expressed. Not expressed in words, but our eyes had expressed it many a times to each other. We both knew that we were falling in love. Though I was not a complete girl and acted in tomboyish manner, he still treated me gently. Niyati had become my best friend in the school. Even though I would be wearing boys' uniform, she would still call me Sonali. Like any other girl friends, we both chatted and gossiped a lot. We would discuss everything from our hairstyles to fashion. But there was something special that Niyati had and I didn't. She had those soft and perky breasts and bras to wear over it. In my heart, I wished to have a figure like her to be a complete girl. And that's why I wrote a letter to Shikha Didi and asked her to bring a bra for me when she comes home next time. Holidays with Shikha. After a few months, Shikha Didi came home for a 6 days break. After all, it was the time of Diwali festival. She had used her little savings to buy gifts for us all. I was excited about the gifts, but equally excited about seeing her after a long time. And when she came to my room after seeing Madhu and our mother. "Didi, where is my gift?" I asked Shikha Didi excitedly. "Oh, so is that all I am good for?" she teased me. I pulled up my dupatta slipping over my shoulders and told her, "Didi, please don't make me wait. Give me my gift." She laughed and opened her bag to take out 2 beautiful bras for me, and with that, there was a pair of soft breast forms made of foam. My eyes twinkled looking at my lovely gift. Now, I was going to have a feminine figure like the girls in my class. Their figures would make me jealous, but not anymore. I always felt something missing in the absence of breasts. You know, I had become a girl in my heart. I had desires like them now. "Do you even know how to wear a bra?" Didi inquired. I shook my head in no. "Okay, so remove your kurti first. I will show you how to wear a bra properly," she said. And then my cute sister taught me how to wear a bra. She filled my bra cups with the breast forms she got for me. The tightness I felt around my chest, due to bra straps, and the shape that I acquired with breast forms made me feel really like a girl. It was a comforting feeling. I felt complete. But my sister Shikha had expressions of confusion on her face. She was looking at her younger brother who had now become a girl. She didn't know if she should feel happy in my happiness, or feel sad to have lost a brother. But in that instant, she decided to feel happy for me, and gave a pleasant smile to me. Then she said, "Sonu, you are becoming a grown-up girl. And that's why I have brought a few more things for you." And she took out 5 new colorful saris. "Are all these for me?" I asked, experiencing so much joy looking at those beautiful saris. I was up on cloud number 9. Any girl who receives her first sari feels the same way. In a way, wearing a sari is the first step towards growing up from a girl to a woman. In that breathtaking collection, 1 sari was for special occasions, but other 4 saris were for regular use at home. My sister had even got matching blouses stitched for me. I was so happy that day. "Didi, please teach me how to wear a sari," I pleaded her with love. And like a kind, elderly sister, she patiently taught me each detail involved in the process of wearing a sari, like how to make pleats, where to put pins, and how to hold a pallu. After the lesson was over, I had tears of joy in my eyes. I could not stop myself from admiring myself in a mirror. My blouse fit well over my breasts and looked beautiful. Shikha Didi then put a round bindi on my forehead to complete the look, and she said, "Look, how beautiful is my cute little sister." We both sisters hugged each other with love. I could not stop admiring myself in the mirror. Finally, I had the figure that I desired. "Hey, now listen to me. I need to go to a bank with mom. I will come back and chat with you all night. You can enjoy your sari until then." She smiled once again at me. Shikha Didi soon left with my mother for the bank. Even Madhu had some work to take care of, so she left as well. Now, it was just me alone at home. I cannot tell how happy I was that day after wearing a sari. I kept admiring myself in front of a mirror, and waved my pallu joyfully. The love with your first sari is amazing. After some time, I heard a doorbell ring. Who could that be? I thought. And then, proceeded to open the door as I tucked my pallu below my navel. When I opened the door, it was Akhil standing in front of me. I was so happy to see him at that time. I wanted to show him my new look and my new found girly figure. I was excited. But he, on the other hand, stood there like a statue. He was probably amazed by my new look in a sari, but he could not utter a single word. He just kept looking at me from the top to bottom. I quickly pulled his hand, and took him to my room. "Upstairs. Isn't anyone home?" he asked hesitantly. I think it was my sari that was casting a spell on him. And I was ignorant of what he was feeling. "No one is home, dear. But tell me, how do I look?" I waved my pallu to give him a full glimpse of my sari design. I was so excited to hear his opinion that I didn't realize the kind of physical impact I was having on him. Poor kid, he was getting spellbounded with each move of mine. And then, instead of saying anything, Akhil came closer to me, and grabbed my hand that was playing with my pallu. He began to touch my navel with his fingers. He was standing very close to me, and my breasts were pushing gently against his firm chest. That's when I realized that it was the first time when Akhil was seeing my bare waist and navel. Before today, He had seen me only in salwar suits where everything used to be covered. Still, I was ignorant about the effect I was having on him. I was just a school kid who had never experienced anything sexual yet, so I didn't know what he felt at the time. This was not the first time Akhil had come this close to me, but I was feeling his hot deep breath falling on my exposed neck for the first time. And then, out of nowhere, he just went back and sat on a chair. Akhil, you haven't yet said anything about my looks. Don't I look beautiful in sari? I asked him. I was a little worried. I wanted to look beautiful for me, and I was desperate to hear some words of praise from him. I didn't want anything else. I frowned a little and moved closer towards him. Then, he pulled my arm and made me sit on his lap. What are you doing? I said in a sad tone. You wanted to know if you looked beautiful, right? I guess you have your answer now. Akhil said as he pointed towards his crotch. I could feel his hard erection while sitting on his lap. And as soon as I understood what was happening, I said, shush. You are such a dirty boy. As I was about to get up from his lap, he grabbed my waist with one hand, and raised my chin with other. And then, he brought forward his lips closer to mine. I could not decide what should I do now. And he began to suck my lips. I quickly resisted his advances and gently slapped him. Romance or kiss is not a good thing. That's what I had learned from elders so far. But Akhil was still smiling. He pulled me closer to him once more. He began to kiss me harder this time. I tried to gently push him away, but he would come back with more passion each time. And kiss. I would not lie, but I began to like the kiss. And as if I had lost control over myself, I began to kiss him back. My breasts were now pushing against his chest. We both were kissing passionately. It was like a passionate contest about who could kiss harder. I would gently slap him occasionally, but he would always come back with greater force. We got back into senses when we heard the door downstairs. Suddenly, we heard the sound of the main door opening downstairs. Shikha Didi and my mom were back. Now, Akhil and I came back to our senses, and controlled ourselves. I quickly fixed my pallu and covered my chest with it. Akhil was smiling and staring at me. He found me sexy, and I knew it now. He wanted to tease me more, but I widened my eyes to convey him quietly that this is not the right time. We both walked down to the main hall, before others find us out here. Akhil greeted my mom and Shikha Didi, and left soon. My mother didn't suspect anything, but the way Shikha Didi looked at us, it seemed like she had some suspicions. But we never spoke about this. Ever. The next few days with Shikha Didi were spent in joy. She informed me about all these competitive exams I could give to get an admission in a good engineering college after I clear my class 12. She wanted me to do something like this so that I could get away from this home, away from Geeta, and begin to live the life of a boy I was meant to be. Shikha Didi would never say this to me, but deep down, she missed her younger brother. Her only brother who was now forced to live a miserable life as a girl. This thought would make her sad. She wanted to do something for me, but she could not do anything at this time. My mother Geeta was unstoppable, and Shikha Didi's salary was not high enough to take care of my expenses. Soon, the good time was over, and she left to go back to her job in Agra. The last year at home, honestly, I am heavily indebted to Shikha Didi for all that she had done for me in all these years. But she never boasts about it, or even mention it. Even today, I know that she is trying to help me with the current situation. I still can't sleep, and I'm feeling thirsty too. I should go to the kitchen to drink some water. I will have to be a little careful because a little noise would wake Shikha Didi up from her sleep. I tried my best to stay quiet, but the very little noise I made in the kitchen was enough for Shikha Didi to wake up. She came to the kitchen and saw me drinking water. "Aren't you feeling sleepy, Sonu?" she asked me with her drowsy eyes. "No, Didi. I was feeling thirsty." "Why did you wake up? It looks like you don't get good sleep without your hubby lying next to you," I teased my sleepy elder sister. "Don't get me started about him. It's better that he is not here. I get more restful sleep when he is not home. You won't understand this," she said. She was laughing a little. Interesting. What won't I understand, my dear sis? I'm old enough, you know," I said jokingly. "So, you want to know? Okay, I will tell you. When your Jijaji, brother-in-law, is lying next to me, if I sleep facing towards him, he would very soon start kissing me. And if sleep facing away from him, he would come from behind, hug me, put his arm over my waist, and then slowly, he would start fondling my breasts. And in both these situations, he would get aroused and the result remains the same. My dear husband begins to express his love late at night. I told you that you wouldn't understand this. Only wives can understand this," Shikha Didi said and laughed loud. "Come on, Didi," I exclaimed. "Who tells such stories to others? Why, what's wrong in sharing my experience with my younger sister? If I don't tell her, who should I tell this to?" she said. Shikha Didi is really something. She can say almost anything to me. She doesn't hesitate at all. "Anyway, dear, it's getting too late. Go back to sleep soon," she said and hugged me once more before going back to sleep. "You wouldn't understand," I laughed a little remembering the words of Shikha Didi. "Well, I can understand that to some extent. So what if I am not a wife? You don't have to be a wife to understand this." That was my last year at home. I had been preparing hard for the engineering entrance exams. After finishing my house chores, I would keep myself busy with my studies. After all, it was the most important year for me. I was in class 12. One day, when I reached my school as usual, Niyati was waiting for me. I could see in her eyes that she had a spicy gossip to share, and she couldn't wait to do so. "Sonali, where have you been? Do you know what Mansi did yesterday?" she said. Mansi was another girl in our class. "What?" I was excited to hear the gossip. "Do you know, Raghu? Her boyfriend? She gave a B*** job to him yesterday. Can you believe that?" Niyati really enjoyed sharing this gossip. B***. Job? What's that? I really didn't know. You don't know? Niyati said in disbelief. And then she told me what it was whispering in my ears. Really? In your mouth? I have never read anything like that in our biology textbooks. It was a complete new information for me. Oh girl, books. Don't tell everything. Sometimes, a girl needs to do things like this for her boyfriend, Niyati said as a matter of fact. Oh, I so wish I had a boyfriend. I think I should get married as soon as possible. I can't wait to experience all these, Niyati sighed. She had only dream, and that was to get married as soon as possible. Though she wanted a boyfriend, she knew that it was not possible with her conservative family controlling her each move. But that day her words, "Sometimes, a girl needs to do things like this for her boyfriend," stuck with me. When I reached home, everything seemed different. The whole house was being painted. It was not surprising because recently, Shikha Didi's wedding got fixed, and her wedding was going to take place in a week. Shikha Didi found a guy herself to marry. My would-be brother-in-law Vinay worked as a manager in some publication house in Agra. They met each other in Agra, and soon the love flourished between these two sweetest souls I have ever met in my life. Vinay was very fond of my sister, and he was impressed how she had been building her own career and supporting her family financially. And then, Shikha Didi was beautiful, decent and joyful too. She would bring joy in anyone who would speak to her. Once they both were ready, Vinay's parent came to our home with the proposal. Needless to say, my cruel mother Geeta introduced me as her youngest daughter Sonali. I didn't really mind that as I had accepted my fate as a girl, and I was very comfortable as a girl by then. No one from Vinay's family really had any idea that I could be a boy, except Vinay himself, who knew the truth about me from my sister. My mother Geeta made me work hard for the wedding preparations. I would be doing cleaning of the big old house that we had, and would take care of a very few guests who decided to join us on this joyous occasion. Thankfully, Geeta had now permitted Madhu Didi to help me with the chores. Madhu Didi and I were really excited about this wedding. Shikha Didi had purchased very expensive saris for us to wear on the wedding day. She also got us pretty lehenga choli set to wear for the ladies' Sangeet night before the wedding day. As a girl living under tyranny of my mother, these were small pleasures which mattered a lot to me. I was really excited to dance and sing wearing a lehenga choli for the ladies' Sangeet night. On the morning of that day when the ladies' Sangeet would take place, Akhil came to our home. He had been frequent to our home during the wedding preparations. Sonali, he said in a hushed voice and asked me to come closer to him in a corner away from the sight of others. That time, I was wearing my daily wear sari and wiping the floor that I had just broomed. I was happy to see him. As soon as I got close to him, he began to kiss me. Instantly. Hey, someone will see us. I resisted his charms. I was afraid because there were so many guests in our home. Listen, I want to see you dance during the Sangeet ceremony tonight. I want you to dance for me, he said. So, who is stopping you to see me? You can come for the ceremony. I teased him with my naughty expressions. He smiled and gave me a peck on my forehead and ran away. He had some task to do. He had been helping us with the wedding preparations a lot. Geeta didn't mind his help, as having a boy at home is really helpful. It was ironic that she had to rely on some other boy when she had forced her only son to toil as a girl inside the four walls of home. Only if she had let her own son live as a boy. Due to Akhil's help, he had a free pass to attend the ladies' Sangeet ceremony, which was otherwise only reserved for the women. I was excited to get ready in my lehenga choli for the Sangeet ceremony. I was going to dance for Akhil. The Sangeet night was the most fun night for me. I was wearing my pretty lehenga choli and enjoyed the whole night a lot. And when I danced, I would look at Akhil and tease him with my moves. And he would respond back with a smile. We have to be a little clever about this, as we didn't want others to notice what was going on between us. Though that was the special night for Shikha Didi, but everyone else had fun too. Late at night, when the Sangeet ceremony was over, I went to my room carrying my heavy lehenga to get some rest. After a long day of work, and then wearing high heels all evening, my legs were tired. I just wanted to change my clothes and sleep. So, I slide my dupatta to one side to access my choli and open it. But to my surprise, Akhil came from behind and hugged me around my waist. I hadn't seen him, but I knew it could only be him. To be honest, I was happy to experience him closer to me. After all, it was the evening of celebrating bond of love, and I wanted to experience that love too. He turned me around and held me tightly in his embrace. I smiled. He looked at me smiling and blushing, and without saying a word, he tried to kiss me, but I was not going to make it this easy for me. I pushed him gently, but he was unstoppable. After our first kiss the other day, we never really had the opportunity to have another passionate kiss. And we both were eager to do that once again. He took me to the bed, laid me there, and closed the door from inside. I knew that everyone in the house were too tired, so no one would bother us in my room. Akhil came over me, in my bed, and he began to squeeze my breasts. And I began to look at him intently with my mesmerizing eyes. She tried to kiss me once again, and I pushed him back again. I teased him. Today, I really had something different in my mind. Tonight, I wanted to take charge. I flipped our position, and I came on top of him. I began to kiss him passionately. I was out of control. He was as if waiting for this moment. We continued to kiss each other for long in that embrace. Occasionally, he would play with my breasts, and sometimes, he would slide my lehenga up to touch my legs and sensitive thighs. A few times, I covered his face with my dupatta, and slid my hands below his shirt to touch his chest. We both were in ecstasy. And the fire within our bodies was raging. Akhil pulled me in his embrace. Sometimes, a girl needs to do things like this for her boyfriend. I remembered what Niyati had said. I continued to kiss Akhil, and opened his shirt. I touched all over his strong chest with my hands, and began to kiss there. Kissing on his manly chest, I felt like I am experiencing what it means to be a girl. It made feel good about myself. It got me more excited. And in that excitement, I unhooked his pants under which his erect manhood was waiting for me. Sometimes, a girl needs to do things like this for her boyfriend. Remembering those words once again, I took his tool in my mouth, and Akhil's body shook and got tense in sheer pleasure. Yes, I did that for my boyfriend too. I don't need to tell what more happened that night, but I had a pleasant satisfaction in my heart. I was a good girlfriend, I was sure of that now. Next day, there was a special glow on my face. Why wouldn't there be? I was so happy and content after the night. Akhil was beaming too. Shikha Didi's wedding concluded with everyone feeling happy. That day, when I looked at my sister in her bridal attire, I looked at myself wearing a heavy sari of her own and wondered. I had my Suhagrat, first wedding night, even before my sister's. After Didi's wedding, the life was back to that normal torture that I had been experiencing for some years now. The unexpected scolding from my mother Geeta, never-ending house chores, and humiliations that I experienced in my daily life from my neighbors and my classmate. But amidst all these, I managed to clear the engineering entrance exams with a good rank. Shikha Didi and her husband Vinay took me for the counseling. At that time, I went there not as Sonali, but Sunil or Sonu. I got admission at a nice college in Delhi. A new time was beginning to start in my life. In the last few years, I had become a girl more or less. It was an unusual problem for me. I had been waiting to live like a boy for years, and when the time had arrived, I had forgotten everything about being a boy. I was more girl than a boy now. Now, I will have to live on my own with other guys in a college hostel. I was in the habit of sleeping in a gown or a sari, and now I will have to adapt myself to wear a pajama. I even need to learn like a man. In spite of all this happening, my mother Geeta lived in her own fantasy life. I don't know why she expected me to continue to live my life as Sonali during my college. It was useless to tell her otherwise. No one even bothered. Shikha Didi had only one request to me, that whenever I would come home, I should come home as Sonali for now. She also asked me to keep my long hairs. While I was happy to go to Delhi, I was sad too because I was separating from Akhil, who got admission in Chandigarh. We didn't know if we had a life together ahead, but when we said goodbye to each other, we definitely dreamt of building a life together.